Good morning, all. I am Ansuman Badu, and today I will take a class which is about Indian polity and governance. This is the first class of Indian polity and governance, and in this class, first we'll discuss about the syllabus, the pattern of the examination, because this time OPSC has changed its pattern, and it is more like the UPSC pattern.
सर किसी क्लियर आसुनी
क्लियर माने कौन आसुनी वॉइस क्लियर होने की
वॉइस क्लियर अछि सर
ओके फाइन सो प्रोसीड तो ए क्लास रे हमें फर्स्ट सिलेबस ऊपर टिके डिस्कशन करिबा तापर हमर अप्रोचेस कोन हबो पढा पढी करिया पे कहना एटा पॉलिटी गवर्नेंस दीटा पार्ट हमें कवर करिबा प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव रे पॉलिटी टा बेसी इंपोर्टेंट और मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव रे गवर्नेंस टा बेसी इंपोर्टेंट अछि सो फर्स्ट हमें बेसिक्स गुडा कवर करिबा side by side we'll solve the questions which is the most important part of polity और तापरे once prelims is over we'll cover the governance part the class रो कोन expectations अछि will you people say anyone
हेलो सर गुड मॉर्निंग
good morning
सर मु एक्सपेक्ट रखुची कि जेमती जहा सब डाउट्स रहिची कि बहुत सारा जिंस थाए कि आमे कांसेप्ट गुडा क्लियर न थाउ तो मु एक्सपेक्ट रखुची कि नाही ए डिस्कशन टा बहुत हेल्पफुल हबो आपण कोठो हमको किछि बेसिक आईडिया मिलिबो जोटा कि हमको एग्जाम रे हेल्प करिवो एग्जाम क्रैक करियो पई
okay
इट विल बी गुड मेंटरशिप तो
Polity
पॉजिटिव होप
टा
नै कि मु जॉइन करिछि
okay fine polity टा एक्चुअली बहुत conceptual topic सेमती किछि डिफिकल्ट न है हेले पॉलिटी रे सबटु इंपोर्टेंट होची हमकु बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस करया पड़िबो खाली रूट लर्निंग की खाली माने बुक बेस्ड रीडिंग एमती कले पॉलिटी टा डिफिकल्ट हो यदि कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी रहिबो ताहले पॉलिटी बहुत इजी हे जिवो आ ओपीएससी हो यूपीएससी हो कि किछि भी एग्जामिनेशन हो सबुतरे पॉलिटी रो सब क्वेश्चन करिया पे भी माने यू पीपल विल बी कैपेबल ऑफ डूइंग दैट ओके तो हमरो एक क्लास रो मोटिव से ही रहिबो कि कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी जेमती बिल्ड अप हबो पॉलिटी रो हमें पूरा कवर बाय कवर सब बुक रीडिंग करबा दरकार नाही केवल जेतिकी रेलेवेंट अछि हमें सेतिकी ही पढिबा और जेतिकी रेलेवेंट अछि काइना पॉलिटी रो बहुत पार्ट अछि इन व्हिच वी हैव टू रीड बिटवीन द लाइंस बहुत इन डेप्थ रे पढिया पड़े आ भी बहुत सारा पार्ट अछि जोटा भी स्किप कर देले भी चलिबो तो हमरो प्लान ऑफ एक्शन सेमती ही रहइबो जोटा बहुत इंपोर्टेंट पार्ट हमें विल रीड बिटवीन द लाइंस जोटा बेसी इंपोर्टेंट नहीं विल स्किप ऑल दोस टॉपिक्स एंड हमें स्टिक करिबा ओनली टू फ्यू बुक्स एमती बहुत सारे रिसोर्स हमें यूज करिबानी आउ एवरी क्लासेस रे हमें क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस करिबा ओके फाइन एंड सेकंड थिंग मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन कोटा कन्वीनियंट रहइबो इंग्लिश हिंदी और ओडिया students please speak okay
I think English will be fine because we all have to attend the questions in English medium, no? So that's why English
Okay,
will be fine.
okay fine
both English ओडिया होची नेसेसरी फॉर कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी जेहेतु आमे ओडे ओडिया मीडियम रो सारा आमे बिलोंग्स करिचु न आमे निश्चित भाबरे आमे तो बैकग्राउंड होची हम साइंस किंतु आमे जदि आर्ट्स स्टूडेंट हेइ थांतु तो हमर किछि तो आवश्यक नाही होची ओडिया रो
अच्छा
जेहेतु आमे साइंस स्टूडेंट हमर टे कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी पई बोथ ओडिया एंड इंग्लिश इज वेरी नेसेसरी
ओ मु इंग्लिश रे मोस्टली जेति कि हमरा सिलेबस टॉपिक्स जोडा सब कवर करिवि जदि कोटी डाउट्स रहिला सेठी मु ओडिया रे एक्सप्लेन कर देबी फाइन
ओके सर
Okay. ଯେତେ ଜଣ ଏବେ ଜଏନ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରୁ କେତେ ଜଣ ଆଗରୁ ମାନେ ପ୍ରିଲିମ୍ସ କ୍ରାକ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି କି ଓପିଏସସି ୟୁପିଏସସି ଏମିତି କିଛି ବି ଏକ୍ସାମିନେସନ ଆଗରୁ ଆପିୟର କରିଛନ୍ତି କି ପଲିଟି ଉପରେ କିଛି ବେସିକ ଅଣ୍ଡରଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡିଂ ଅଛି?
Yes, sir.
ନା ଏଟା ପୁରା ହିଁ ବିଗିନର ଙ୍କ କ୍ଲାस ହିଁ କରିବା? ओके तो हमारा मेन मोटिव रहेगा conceptual clarity, understanding of the subject, and then we'll practice a lot of questions. Last 30 year UPS okay fine. Medium of instruction सेमती रहिबो कि जेमती समस्त पे convenient रहिबो, whether you are a fresher, whether you are an experienced candidate, whatever समस्त में जेमती okay किछि इश्यूज नहीं जे फ्रेशर होंतु कि जे किछि थरो एग्जाम अपियर भी करि थांदु कहा पे किछि इश्यूज हबनी कैन हमें दी पट डायमेंशन कवर करिबा आ पॉलिटी हमें रूट लर्निंग ऊपर फोकस करिबा हमें कांसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी और नैरेशन ऊपर फोकस करिबा ओके एमिति आर्बिट्रेरली किछि सब्जेक्ट पिक करिबानी केमति गोटे नैरेशन रे जिवो गोटे स्टोरी हिसाब रे केमति सब जिंस मन रहइबो सेमति हमें फोकस करिबा ओके means okay you have appeared means to the appear question तो basic understanding तो थिबो ही पॉलिटी रे
Sir, I can't audibly voice properly.
I think there might be some network issues on your part because all other students are not complaining about the audio. Am I audible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
सर क्लियर पूरा क्लियर अछि सर.
Okay, fine. तो क्लास रू एक्सपेक्टेशन ब्रॉडली कौन रहिबो? Conceptual clarity, previous year question practice करिबा प्लस नुआ किछि भी आउ क्वेश्चंस प्रैक्टिस करिबा जेंति एग्जाम हॉल रे किछि भी इश्यूज जेंति न हुए राइट ओके सो shall we start our class? Okay, fine. Is the presentation visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Presentation visible रहुचे के?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. We'll start. This lecture is about polity and governance. This is the first lecture, and myself, I am Anshuman Bodu, and this is a brief description about me. I did my BTech from NIT Rourkela, and I have appeared UPSC mains thrice, and currently I'm working as a deputy manager in National Aluminum Company. This will be our approach. Making things simpler is the most difficult thing in this world. We will not delve into the unnecessary complexities of the subject. We'll try to make the subject as simple as it is possible. We'll teach only the relevant topics. No need to read from cover to cover. Whatever I say in the class, you just have to read that much only. Okay. And then we'll only stick to limited resources. Limited resource accompanied with multiple revisions. Because whether you follow Lakshmikant, D.D. Basu, or any other book available in the market, the basic content available in all the books are broadly the same. So we will only stick to a few resources. Then there is a Chinese saying which says, crossing the river by touching the stones. If you have to cross a river, first you have to touch the stone. and then only you'll know about the depth of the river. Okay, what does it mean? In our scenario, I would say, first we'll have a thorough understanding about the syllabus. We should understand the demand of the question, whether it is prelims or mains. We should have a broader understanding about the demand of the examination. Second, previous year questions. By far, these are the most vital part for any examination, I would say. Okay. And in our classes also, I will try to solve few questions in every class. And once our classes are done, we'll also start a test series, which is very much essential for prelims. Unless you practice a lot of questions, it will be very difficult for you to clear prelims, because the pattern this year, I think the pattern has changed. The negative marking earlier, it used to be 1/4, and from this year onwards it is 1/3. Okay, fine. And if you take about the previous year question, I will say, if we'll solve 30-year UPSC question, last 30-year UPSC prelims polity questions, and from 2015 to 2021 OPSC prelims questions. Okay, these parts will cover, so that you will have a broader understanding about the topics. Unless and until you practice a lot of questions, it will be difficult for having a conceptual understanding about the subject. Next, let us start with the syllabus of preliminary examination. First, current event of national and international importance. It is concerned with the current affair part, right? No need to explain about it. History of India and Indian national movement. Just check one thing. This doesn't include world history. Okay. This is the first time OPSC is conducting the examination in the new pattern. And as far as my experience is concerned with UPSC examination, I have never experienced a world history question in the prelims. Mostly, the most vital part of history is Indian national movement. That is from 1757 to 1947. From Battle of Plassey to Indian Independence Act. Okay. From history perspective, I would say this is the most important part. Read between the lines from spectrum. Brief history of Indian history. Brief history of modern India. Okay. Any doubts, students? And then history of Odisha and Odisha nationalism. You have to selectively read all these topics. Then Odisha and Indian geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. For this, you have to cover 11th and 12th NCERT. And only world physical geography, you just have to cover world physical geography and India physical geography. First cover all these two topics, and after that go to the human geography part. Okay. And then economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiative. This is mostly concerned with government schemes, center as well as states. And you also have to prepare budget. Every year, 2 or 3 questions are asked from budget. Then general issues of environment, ecology, biodiversity, climate change that do not require in subject specialization. We are already covering this part in our process. That will suffice. And paper 2, it's about logical reasoning, decision making, aptitude, all these parts. Be careful about this topic because the qualifying mark is 33%, and every year the paper is getting difficult. Okay, so at least you should solve previous year questions. If you have confidence in appearing the prelims, then you don't have to do a lot of practice. But you are not confident, then you have to practice a lot of questions. Then syllabus for main examination. First part, qualifying papers. One will be Odia language, one will be English language. As far as evaluation of OPSC is concerned, you have to be very, very careful regarding these two papers. Chances are high that your mains answer sheet may not be evaluated due to getting disqualified in these papers. Okay, you have to be very much careful. Second, let us talk about these things in detail. First part, essay. From this year onwards, UPSC has changed the essay pattern. 2 essays are asked instead of 1 essay of 125 mark each. Okay, the duration will be 1.5 3 hours. So you have to solve the question, write each essay in 1.5 hours. Okay. Paper 1 of general study. It is about art and culture part. History. History includes ancient history, medieval history, modern Indian history, and world history. World history is included in the general studies paper 1. Okay. Geography of India and society. Society of paper 1 is interlinked with social justice of paper 2 and economic development of paper 3. You have to prepare holistically. Okay. Paper 2, governance, constitution and polity. Constitution and polity, these parts are mostly asked in the prelims. Okay. And governance is the application of polity. Okay. So in our lecture, first we'll cover the polity part, and some governance topics have linkage to the polity directly, like the role of governor, the role of president. Okay. These are some governance topics which have direct relevance with polity. We'll cover those topics while covering those topics in the classes. And some purely governance related topics like citizen charter, RTI, good governance, those parts we'll cover after the prelims. Okay. And general studies paper 3, it is about economic development, science and tech, disaster management. Okay. General studies paper 4, it has been this is for the first time it has been introduced in OPSC. It's about ethics, integrity and aptitude. And my advice to you people would be to solve previous year UPSC questions from 2013 to 2022. First do it. Once you are done with it, your basic understanding will be clear. And after that, you may refer to the second ARC, fourth report of second ARC. Okay. That is ethics and governance. Fine. Any doubt regarding this? Anyone? Okay. And for this year, we have only one optional paper. This is the detailed syllabus of polity and governance. Though it is not mentioned in the OPSC notification, but we'll broadly cover these topics. In Indian Constitution, historical underpinning, that is evolution of constitutional polity in India from 1773 to 1947, and then evolution, features, amendments, how amendments are carried out, some significant amendments that has been done after independence, like First Amendment, Ninth Amendment, all those things, 42nd Amendment, 44th Amendment, 86th Amendment, all these are important amendments of Indian Constitution. We'll cover all those things. Significant provisions and basic structure. Basic structure, it has started from the Kesavananda Bharati judgment, and we'll explain in detail how the basic structure doctrine has been evolved from 1973 till now. Then, function and responsibilities of union and states, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to the local levels, and challenges therein. As you might be knowing, India is a union of states. Okay. We also call it a federal polity. Power has been divided between center and state in 7th schedule of the Constitution. This talks about center list, state list, and concurrent list. Also, between state and the local bodies, the subject matters are also divided through 11th and 12th schedule. Okay. So we'll talk in detail about the challenges faced by the local bodies, faced by the union-state relations while discussing all these topics. Separation of power between various organs of states like legislature, executive, and judiciary. Dispute redressal mechanisms and institutions. Okay. Comparison of Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries. Like, as you people might be knowing, we have borrowed some provisions of our constitution from other countries, like fundamental right from American Constitution, like those, and we'll talk in detail while covering these topics. Parliament and state legislature, by far this is the most important topic from prelims perspective. This one and historical underpinnings. Jot it down. These are the most important topics from prelims perspective. Structure and functioning of the executive and judiciary, ministry and departments of the government, pressure groups. What do you understand by pressure groups? Anyone? Anyone? What do you understand by pressure groups? I'm not getting any answers. Okay.
Pressure groups are those groups of people who have common interests, or they try to sometimes capture the power.
They don't try to capture the power. They try to influence the polity of our country. Like MKSS, Mazdoor and Kisan Shakti Sangathan. This pressure group was responsible for the formulation of RTI Act. Okay.
So can a political party be considered as a pressure group?
From the broader ambit of pressure group, we may say that, but political parties are directly exercising the power. So, from the definition of pressure group, we should exclude them. Pressure group is someone who doesn't directly exercise the power, like FICCI.
So
This is an organization of industries. They exert power, they exert pressure on government to formulate certain policies which will be conducive for the industrial development. Okay,
yes.
that's all. Salient features of Representation of People Act. It includes articles about defections and all. We'll read them. Appointment to various constitutional posts, power, functions, and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies like CAG, Election Commission, UPSC, OPSC also, which is a constitutional body. Then statutory, regulatory, and various quasi-judicial bodies. What do you mean by quasi-judicial bodies? Anyone? Anyone? What do you mean by statutory bodies? Statutory bodies means that are formed by a statute, that is a law which is made in the parliament or state legislature. By virtue of that law, this body has been formed, a statutory body, like RBI. RBI is a statutory body. Okay. Regulatory body. They regulate certain areas like SEBI. It regulates our financial markets. Quasi-judicial bodies, they can pass judgments, but they do not have the power of contempt of court. They cannot enforce their judgment. Okay. They are called quasi-judicial bodies, like information commissions, SIC, CIC. They can advise that you people may do all these things, but they cannot enforce it. They do not have the power of contempt of court, which is an exclusive power of our judiciary. Then government policy and intervention in development in various sectors, these are related to government schemes and all. And then NGOs, SHGs, various groups, association, these are also pressure groups. Okay. Welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by central and states. Performance of the schemes, mechanisms, bodies constituted by the protection for betterment of these vulnerable sections. This is also related to government schemes and social development, society part. This, see, this is very important. Poverty and hunger, health, education, and human resources. You may refer to economic survey to have some basic understanding on facts and figures about these things. But those topics will be mostly covered in the classes, so you won't have to go through it. Then important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, e-governance. Accountability measures like RTI, Citizen Charter, CBC, all those things will come under this topic. Then role of civil services in a democracy. We'll refer to second ARC, personal administration, while covering this topic. This is very important. Sources. As I have explained from the beginning itself, we'll limit our sources to a few books. First, original constitution. This is by far the most important document, because most of you might be reading Lakshmikant for having an understanding about Indian polity. But one limitation of Lakshmikant is that the wording is not exactly as it is with the original constitution. So you should have the original constitution in hand while reading Lakshmikant. At least you should read the articles as it is, the bare articles. Okay. Because many questions are asked in OPSC or even from UPSC, which are directly picked from the original constitution, the wording, everything. Those are directly picked from the original constitution itself. So let us take for an example, you are reading fundamental rights. That is from Article 12 to Article 32. Okay. 14 to 32. So while reading the fundamental rights, read all the conceptual parts from M. Lakshmikant, but side by side, also read the original constitution. Like, what does Article 14 says about equality? What does Article 15 says about provision of discrimination? Okay, like that. And then comes Class 11 NCERT, that is Indian Constitutional Work. This is a very basic book. Okay. From this book, you can have basic understanding about principles like FPTP. Can anyone tell me about FPTP? Anyone? This is fast past the post system. Okay. I'll explain in detail while covering these topics. FPTP, single transferable vote. Those are used in the election of the president. Those parts you can cover from this. And then comes political theory. For learning about, for having an understanding about the concepts like liberty, equality, fraternity, concept of nation state. For those things, you have to refer to these things. And then second ARC reports. These are required for governance. These reports will run into thousands of pages. You don't have to read all of them. Okay. In our classes, I will cover only those things which are having a relevance to our examination, nothing else. Okay. You can either refer to all these books or you can refer to our classes. Okay. In our classes, I will broadly cover all these topics which are having a relevance to our examination. And I will also point out the topics that you need to read. Like Lakshmikant, you don't have to read from the cover to cover. There are hardly 10 to 15 topics which are very important. And beyond that, you just have to skim through all other topics. Okay, fine. Next. So right now we should start our class. Do you people have any doubt regarding the syllabus and plan of examination? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, paper 3 रो खाली से गोटे जो ओडिशा एंड इट्स नाइबरहुड रिलेशन अछि सेटा केमती कवर करिया
सेटा देखो ब्रॉडली सेगुडा का हमर हिस्टोरिकली केमिति हमर रिलेशन इवॉल्व करिछि सेटा गोटे पार्ट
तो सर मु
पेपर 2 रो कोठी अछि ए जो इंटरस्टेट रिलेशंस को कहउछ कि
आज्ञा जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 3 रे लास्ट माने सब
Interstate relation.
टॉपिक था
जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 2 कथा कहउछ तो
आज्ञा
सेटा जोटे इंटरस्टेट रिलेशंस देखुछ सेटा एक्चुअली माने बोते जदी के लागुछि एटा गोटे रॉन्ग इंटरप्रिटेशन हेछि तुम यूपीएससी सिलेबस देखिबो एटा इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस अछि हला
हां सर सेटा तो इंटरनेशनल अछि हेले बहुत जण कहउछन जे एटा माने इंटरस्टेट रिलेशन
ठीक अछि हमें इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस एज वेल एज इंटरस्टेट रिलेशंस विल कवर ओनली द रेलेवेंट टॉपिक्स आप ए किछि स्पेसिफिक बुक नहीं कि किछि रिसोर्सेस नहीं
सर
हम
हमें
हां राइट
सर वो कहतनी कि हम एई डायमेंशन रे पढि परिबा कि जेमती माने ट्रेड केमती अछि कल्चरल रिलेशन केमती अछि रिलेशन ई सब जेमती हम इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन रे पढुथु हमर
हां सेमती देखिबो देखो गोटे सुना गोटे कथा यू डोंट हैव टू सिक्योर 100% मार्क्स राइट
अगेन
तुम 100% मार्क तो रखियर नहीं राइट कि ओपीएससी की यूपीएससी हिस्ट्री तक 100% मार्क आज बंद रखि नांती राइट
दैट्स 100
कहउछ सब एग्जामिनेशन गोटे रूल होची 20 to 80 रूल गोटे अछि हला 20% एफर्ट दियो 80% सिलेबस कवर करो हला जो पोर्शन गुडा को सबुठु बेसी इंपोर्टेंट हमें से गुडा का आगो कवर करिबा जोटा कि 80% सिलेबस को कंस्टिट्यूट करूछ हला और बाकी जति के रहला 20% ऑफ सिलेबस व्हिच रिक्वायर्स 80% ऑफ एफर्ट सेगुडा को हम सिलेक्टिवली पढिबा हला और एमिति भी इंटरस्टेट रिलेशन रे किछि भी क्वेश्चंस आछु इंटरस्टेट रिलेशंस एमिति भी पॉलिटी रे कवर होबो राइट आ हमरो काहा से भी किछि भी डिस्प्यूट्स रहउची दर लेटेस्ट छत्तीसगढ़ से हमर महानदी को नै डिस्प्यूट्स रहउची ताकू भी हमें कवर करि परिबा पॉलिटी एंगल हला
बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट हो कि वाटर डिस्प्यूट
एमिति भी मु कहू यस वाटर जो हमर रिवर डिस्प्यूट में जो आर्टिकल्स पडा अछि सोडा मेंशन करी हमें इजीली क्लियर करि परिबा और एमिति भी तम पाखरे केतिकी टाइम थिबो गोटे क्वेश्चन अटेंड करियो 10 to 12 मिनिट्स थिबो तम पाखरे टाइम हला तमे दी स्ट्रक्चर ही खाली ठीक से बने कि बेसिक वे रे भी लिखि देबी दैट विल बी मोर देन सफिशिएंट आई वुड से ओके तो हमें जोड़ा को माने मेजर टॉपिक्स गुडा को सेगुडा का कवर करिबा तापर माइनर टॉपिक गुडा कवर करिबा कैन माइनर टॉपिक गुडा कवर करी कि बेसी एनर्जी वेस्ट करियाटा माने that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
The minor topic टा कोडा
minor topic जेमती मु एबे syllabus explain कला बेले कहली हला पॉलिटी गवर्नेंस पार्ट रो लेटेस्ट से हमर जेती फेडरल पॉलिटी रहला से सब पार्ट गुडा को मेजर टॉपिक रहला हला माइनर टॉपिक धर जो रहला आरटीआई सिटीजन चार्टर सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स एनजीओज ओके एमती जो छोट छोट पार्ट गुडा को रहला सोडो को माइनर पार्ट कहंती हला सेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग आसी जीवो वंस हमें कोर्स पे प्रोसीड कले सब अंडरस्टैंडिंग आसी जीवो कोटा मेजर टॉपिक कोटा माइनर टॉपिक सेटा तमने निजे ही कहि परियो माने आई डोंट हैव टू स्पीक अबाउट दोस थिंग्स ओके so let us start with today's discussion. Fine. What is polity? What do you mean by polity? Anyone? Okay. It is a system of government. The scheme or system of government is called polity. Okay. For us, it is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. As mentioned in our preamble. Fine. This is our system of government. We are a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay. Next. This subject polity completely deals with the functioning of the government in the country. It is about the executive, legislative, and judicial systems and various constitutional authorities in the country. Executive, it is about, what do you mean by executive? Anyone?
हेलो सर
Yes.
सर एग्जीक्यूटिव माने कहले गले माने जो माने पॉलिसी को इंप्लीमेंट करंती सेटा लाइक एग्जीक्यूटिव मे बी एटा माने दुई प्रकार हेति पारे हम जो माने ब्यूरोक्रेसी में ही परंती आ जोटा हमर पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स माने भी जो कैबिनेट रे
Yes. Very good. Executive रे हमर गोटे रहला पॉलिटिकल एग्जीक्यूटिव आ गोटे रहला ब्यूरोक्रेसी हला लेजिस्लेचर जानि छ हमर सेटअप रे एटा होची पार्लियामेंट कि स्टेट रे स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर ओके जुडिशियल सिस्टम हमर होची कोनटा अछि इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशियरी अछि इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशियरी What do you mean by the term integrated judiciary? Anyone? Integrated judiciary कौन? Okay. Top रे हमर रहला सुप्रीम कोर्ट, तापर रहला हाई कोर्ट, तापर रहला डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स, तापर रहला सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट्स. Okay. Fine. Integrated judiciary माने होचे एटा any legislation रहला सेटा को सब कोर्ट डील कर परबे हला जदि किछि सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट रे गोटा फाइनल हे पालानी सेटा वाला डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट को सेटा वाला हाई कोर्ट को सेटा वाला सुप्रीम कोर्ट को हला एमिति रे कि किछि गोटे स्टेट स्पेसिफिक लॉ रहला जोटा कि गोटे हाई कोर्ट डील करूछ आ सेटा सुप्रीम कोर्ट डील करि परिबो नाही एमिति किछि हे परिबोनी इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशियरी माने होचे सेटा हला तापर रहला वेरियस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटीज लाइक एज आई हैव ऑलरेडी सेड इलेक्शन कमीशन यूपीएससी ओपीएससी Finance Commission, these are all constitutional authorities. Okay. Next. What is governance? Anyone? Please speak. Governance.
To maintain law and order of the state.
Maintain law and order eta to police kari pari.
Governance. Governance means sir, it is a process or where ruled how the ruler ruling the ruled माने जो माने शासक केमती रूल करूछंती सेटा कोड प्रकार गवर्नेंस कहि पारे
ताले गवर्नेंस और गवर्नमेंट भीतर डिफरेंस कोन रहला
रूल जो माने गवर्नमेंट माने
गवर्नमेंट और गवर्नेंस भीतर डिफरेंस कोन रहला गवर्नमेंट vis-a-vis गवर्नेंस
स्ट्रक्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जोटा थिवो सेटा को हमें गवर्नमेंट कहि पारिबा आ केमती से माने फंक्शन करूछंती से स्ट्रक्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सेटा को हमें गवर्नेंस कहि पारिबा मो मतरे
सेकंड पार्ट टा करेक्ट अछि फंक्शनिंग स्ट्रक्चर होची गवर्नेंस होची ब्रॉडली any actor which is involved in the implementation of policy we can call them as a part of our governance process okay वर्ल्ड बैंक रो डेफिनेशन कोन ए पॉइंट नोट कर दियो एटा मेंस रे डेफिनेटली एटा जोट भी चाहे हम लिख परिए पॉलिटिकल गवर्नेंस ओके वर्ल्ड बैंक डिफाइंस गवर्नेंस एज हाउ पावर इज एक्सरसाइज्ड in the management of countries economic and social resources for development okay so power can be exercised by government it can also be exercised by non-government entities like market civil society organization and all okay so in the ambit of governance it includes government market as well as civil society organizations fine the stakeholders of governance at the national level can be categorized into state market and civil society okay state organs like legislature executive and judiciary market it can be organized as well as unorganized private sectors civil society beyond state and market everything else comes under it like ngos self-help groups pressure groups all of them will come under civil society so governance includes state market and civil society organizations okay this is the confluence of these three systems fine next please try to attempt this question which of the following best defines the term state it has been asked in UPSC 2021 please try to attempt this question and answer your response
सर ए हबो
anyone what could be the possible answer what do you mean by state
ए हो
A hobo okay anyone
Sir, B.
okay
बी
B, sir.
okay A और B भीतर difference कोनटा रहउचे anyone
डिफरेंस टिके अधिका लेखा है जे नेचुरल राइडिफाइड दे दी जे
अच्छा सेट में बीटा होबो नि एटा होबो बेसी लेखा है जे okay start करिए ये रे कोनटा लेखा छै the community of persons permanently occupying a definite territory first word by word पढ़े definite territory first independent of external control and possessing an organized government what does it mean a community of persons occupying a definite territory they have a definite territory some people are residing in it and they are independent of external control what does it imply independent of external control
रिपब्लिक
No. Sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
Sovereignty. Independent of external control. And possessing an organized government. That is, they have some sort of government at place. That can be a democracy, that can be a monarchy, anything. Second, a politically organized people of a definite territory and possessing an authority to govern them, maintain law and order, protect their natural rights, and safeguard their means of sustenance. Okay. Protect their natural rights. Okay. Maintain law and order. These things. And beyond that, this is similar to the first thing. It doesn't speak about sovereignty. Okay. It has only spoken about a definite territory. It doesn't speak about sovereignty. And one more thing, protect their natural rights. Okay. This is not a criteria for terming a state as a state. Okay. Let us say Arab states. They are absolute monarchies. They don't protect the natural rights of their citizens. Can we tell them that they are not states? From the definition of state, Arab countries are definitely states. Even Saudi Arabia को हमें भाविवा कि कौन सी अरब कंट्री से माने स्टेट डेफिनेटली स्टेट ର डेफिनेशन अनुसार से माने गोटे कंट्री है ओके हेले से माने ए राइट्स गुडा नाही ओके सो डेफिनेटली बी इज नॉट करेक्ट थर्ड the number of persons who have been living in a definite territory for a very long time with their own culture tradition and government okay let us take for an example Bangladeshi refugees okay they are also staying in our country for a very long time with their own culture, tradition, and government. They don't have this government, okay. But that doesn't mean that they have their. We'll call them as a state, okay. Last thing, socially, a society permanently living in a definite territory with a central authority, executive responsible for its central authority, and an independent judiciary. It doesn't talk about the term sovereignty, okay. Unless a state is sovereign, we cannot call it a state, okay. So answer is A. Elements of state. First, people, as we have seen, organized group. What is that? A community of persons. Okay. Then government, it should have a territory and it should possess sovereignty. That is, it is independent from all external controls in its decision making. Fine. Is it clear to all?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
हमें कोर्स प्रोसीड करे से तो एमती क्वेश्चंस गुडा को प्रैक्टिस करियो समथि हेले कांसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी रहबो ओके फाइन सेकंड व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड व्हाई डू वी नीड इट व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज अ political frame based on which principles or laws of a country are formulated. Okay, it is a political frame. It is a structure based on which our laws are formulated. Okay, let us take for an example fundamental rights. Article 14. It talks about right to equality. Okay, this is a fundamental law. So any law that a legislature makes, it has to be compatible with this. If that contravenes with this, then that will be termed as null and void. Okay. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Then under the constitution, rights, duties of citizens are described. Rights, in our case, it is fundamental rights. Duties, it is fundamental duties. They are described. The relationship of people with government is decided by the constitution. The relationship of people with the government. So, our constitution is not similar with the constitution of US. Okay. Constitution is a product of our history. So based on that, our constitution, we have framed our constitution as per our requirement. United States has formulated their constitution as per their requirement. Okay. So constitution defines relationship of people with the government. Okay. In US, they have dual citizenship. Okay, one for a state and one for the country, but we do not have it. We have a single citizenship. Okay, that is how the relationship of the people with government is decided by the constitution. Our constitution defines single citizenship. In US, it is dual citizenship. Okay, and then need for a constitution. In a democracy, people are sovereign. Okay, power resides with the people. But we have to have some sort of government to rule the people. So what does the people do? This is people. This is government. They will delegate some of the powers to the government. Okay, we do not have absolute freedom in our country. We cannot do whatever we would like to do. Our freedom is limited by some fundamental laws which are governed by the government. Okay, so democracy is based on the principle of shared power, in which people of our country delegate, people, not people, citizen of our country delegate power to the government through a constitution. They give government some power that is based on principle of shared power. So constitution defines as well as limits the power of the government. Constitution always sets some limits on the power of the government. Let us say right to property. Right to property. Earlier it was a fundamental right. Right now it is a constitutional right. Okay. It defines the powers of the government. Let us say Article 356, which is what? Article 356 is about what?
Emergency.
Yes. Not emergency. It is president's rule. Okay. So the government has certain limitation. Let us say now our center is ruled by BJP government. Okay. Let us say some other state is ruled by some other political party. So that doesn't mean that the government will exercise its power and they will implement Article 356. It is definitely limited by Constitution. The power to exercise Article 356 is limited by Constitution. Then delegation of power doesn't mean arbitrary exercise of the power by the executive. Okay. Citizens have delegated the power to the government. That doesn't entail the government to arbitrarily exercise the power. The power of the government is further limited by judiciary. Okay, judiciary and many other organizations, many other constitutional bodies. Okay. What is constitutionalism? Anyone?
A body of fundamental principle according which a state of govern.
Yes. These are the fundamental principles based on which our constitution is framed, based on which our polity and our governance functions. Like in our society, values of equality, secularism, liberty, these are all the values of our society. These are reflected in our constitution. Okay. So next. This is constitutional government means. This has been asked in UPSC 2021. Can anyone tell me the answer?
B.
Anyone?
Sir, D.
B. B for Bombay.
हाँ सर डी
Sir,
हब
D.
डी हब लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन गवर्नमेंट इज ए लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट
Okay. ମୁଁ ଅଲରେଡି ପୂର୍ବ ସ୍ଲାଇଡରେ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲେନ କରିଥିଲି କନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନର କାମ ହିଁ ସେଇଟା ସେ ଲିମିଟ କରିବ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟର ପାୱାରକୁ ନହେଲେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ମନଷ୍ଟର ହେଇଯିବ ସେ ଆର୍ବିଟ୍ରାରିଲି କିଛି ବି ପାୱାର ଏକ୍ସରସାଇଜ କରିଦେବ ରାଇଟ୍ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଆମର ଆନ୍ସର ହେଉଛି a government limited by the terms of the constitution. This has been asked in 2021 and in this year prelims also. I think one question has been asked.
हाँ सर ड्यू प्रोसीजर ऑफ लॉ पड़िला एटा इधर
The
बाय
due process of law तो different. ए टाइप रो मतलब छोटे पड़ितला question.
हाँ ना ସେଇଟାର ପୁରା ଅପସନ୍ ଟା ଥିଲା
ଟିକେ ବୁଲେଇ ପକେଇଥିଲା
Okay.
ହଁ ସେଇ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଟା ଟିକେ ବୁଲେଇ
ସେମିତି ପଡିଥିଲା. Okay. The due process of law, procedure established by law with a difference କଣ?
natural justice
କଣ ହେଲା?
principle of natural justice
प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस सेटा तो ऑप्शन भूल ही हबो सेटा सुने
ସେଟା ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ନା ଭାଇ ଯୋଉ ଜଣ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ସେଇଟା ଅପସନ ଆମେ ଆନ୍ସର ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି
ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ और प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय लॉ ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ
The procedure established by law is the negative and due process of law is positive in nature.
Natural law, due process of law is natural law.
established by law ठीक अछि कथा अछि हम केमती कनेक्ट करू छटा ओके प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय लॉ माने जदि हमर लेजिस्लेचर लेट अस पार्लियामेंट ओके किछि भी गोटे लॉ गोटे फ्रेम कर दउछ से लॉ टा इवन जदि वायोलेटिव भी हेतिबो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस किछि भी वायोलेटिव भी जदि हेतिबो प्रिंसिपल को भी स्टिल जुडिशियरी किछि करेक्टिव एक्शंस नहीं परिबने जुडिशियरी करेक्टिव एक्शंस किछि भी नहीं परिबो नाही काहे कि इट इज बाउंड बाय द प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय लॉ ओके जहां लॉ रे मेंशन हेछि जुडिशियरी को से ही फॉलो करिया को पड़िबो आ किछि चेंज कर परिबो ना ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ रे किंतु जुडिशियरी पाखरे अछि स्कोप जो थरे किछि करेक्टिव एक्शंस नहीं परिबो ओके नेक्स्ट
Sir, fair application of law कौन?
फेयर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ लॉ भी सेटा ही आसीबो प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस अंडर ही आसीबो सुडा को सेटा भी हमरे ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ रे ही जबो प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय लॉ रे जबोनी हला प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश्ड माने सेटा होची रिजिड सेथि किछि हम चेंजेस करि परिबोनी हला
ना सर से ऑप्शन टा भी अछि ना ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ रे भी से ऑप्शन टा भी अछि
ठीक अछि सेटा हमें नेक्स्ट क्लास रे डिस्कस करियो डिटेल हला जेतला हम फंडामेंटल राइट्स पढियो सेटा डिटेल रे डिस्कस करियो तारे जुडिशियल प्रोनाउंसमेंट जहां सब अछि डिटेल करियो ओके एबे क्लास रे आज रो क्लास जोटा प्लान अछि लेट अस कंप्लीट दैट ओके सो लेट अस स्टार्ट विथ द हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड एठो हमें जानिबा कि हमरो इवोल्यूशन केमिति हेछि as I have told from the very beginning of the class that we have to read polity as a narration as a story we should not focus on rote learning यदि किछि स्टोरी फॉर्मेट रहइबो हमको सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स मन रहइबो इंटरलिंकिंग भी हबो कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी भी हबो एंड हमें क्वेश्चंस उडा भी अटेम्प्ट करि परिबा ओके so let us start historical background as we all know British came to India in 1600 as traders in the form of East India Company through the virtue of the royal charter granted by Queen Elizabeth okay this is the first time Britishers have ventured into India as a trading company in the name of East India Company which has exclusive right of trading that is monopoly because during that time spice trade was highly lucrative so they should have a monopoly over the trade so that they can reap abnormal profits because in East India Company the government of Britain was also a shareholder okay next they have established factories at Masulipatanam and Surat can you tell me where is Masulipatanam located
ଗୁଜୁରାଟ
Andhra Pradesh.
आंध्र प्रदेश है
anyone else Masulipatanam to Andhra Pradesh located okay तो एटा मने रखियार अछि कि फर्स्ट फैक्ट्री मसुलीपट्टनम रे ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी एस्टैब्लिश करथिला हैला और सेकंड फैक्ट्री एस्टैब्लिश करथिला सूरत रे तो फर्स्ट ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वाज अ company of merchants which has exclusive monopoly over the trade in India okay so how it became a territorial power from a mercantile power territorial initially they were only seeking some form of compensation from the government to carry out their trade. And as the time progresses, they have become a territorial power. Okay. And how it has happened? Because East India Company has come into conflict with the Nawab of the Bengal, which has culminated in the Battle of Plassey. Okay. Between Nawab of Sirajuddaulah of Bengal and Captain Robert Clive of East India Company. And this Battle of Plassey, I would say, this is the most pivotal battle in the history of India. Had it not happened, we would have been an independent country. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Battle of Plassey, 1757, and Third Battle of Panipat, 1761. Both of them are the most significant events in the history of India. Okay. Had these battles not happened, we would probably have been an independent country. Then, results. As this is a polity class, we should not delve much into the historical aspect, but I would tell all of you to read Spectrum along with M. Lakshmikant while covering these historical parts. Okay, because in Spectrum these things are mentioned in detail. So once we cover the historical background part, most of the topics of modern Indian history will also be covered. Fine. Results of Battle of Plassey. Mir Jafar became the Nawab of Bengal. He used to be a commander of Nawab Sirajuddaulah. Okay. And indirect rule of Bengal by East India Company. That has happened. Mir Jafar was placed as a puppet. He has to give some amount of indemnity to East India Company. Okay. And after that, Mir Jafar tried to make an alliance with the Dutch to drive out the East India Company from Bengal. And Robert Clive sensed that, and they have a war with the Dutch. These English people have a war with the Dutch, and they have established absolute supremacy of power in Bengal after that war. Okay. And after that war, Mir Jafar was placed on a pension, and his son-in-law, Mir Qasim, was placed as a Nawab. Okay. And he tried to rule independently of the influence of the East India Company. Okay, which was definitely not suitable for the East India Company, and it has culminated in the Battle of Buxar. Okay. Battle of Buxar, it had happened between the combined forces of Mir Qasim, who was the son-in-law of Mir Jafar, then Nawab of Awadh, Sujauddaulah, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. Though he was a nominal emperor, still he was exerting certain powers. Okay, and East India Company. It was a decisive battle. East India Company emerged victorious. As a result, Treaty of Allahabad was signed between the Mughal Emperor and East India Company. Please remember this thing. Mughal Emperor Shah Alam and East India Company. Between them, Treaty of Allahabad is signed. Okay, please note it down. And East India Company received Diwani rights over the provinces of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha based on this Treaty of Allahabad. Okay, a system of dual government had been established in Bengal because East India Company was exercising certain amount of power by virtue of Diwani rights, and the Nawab was exercising certain other powers. Next, Diwani rights. Diwani is right of collection of taxes and administration of civil justice. This is administration of justice. It is about civil justice on behalf of Emperor in the eastern provinces of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. East India Company has received this power, Diwani rights. That is right to collect taxes and administer civil justice. Okay. And Diwani rights, they have received this power through the Treaty of Allahabad from Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Okay. So East India Company became a territorial power. By virtue of this Diwani right. Then Nijamat. Nijamat is about administration of criminal justice. Initially, it was delegated to the Nawab. He was supposed to administer criminal justice, but he did not have funds because fund was with the East India Company, right? So this is called a system of dual government. So it has become a failure. So in 1771, the Court of Directors, This is the body which controls the East Indian Company. Okay. They have decided to obtain the company the jurisdiction of both criminal and civil cases. That is, they have obtained both Nijamat as well as Diwani rights. Okay. So let us solve this question. Consider the following statements. The East India Company obtained Diwani rights from the Nawab of Bengal. The Nijamat right is about the collection of taxes. East India Company received Diwani rights in the Treaty of Allahabad. Which of the above version is correct?
Sir, second I.
Second, two options are correct.
Yes, sir.
Anyone?
Two options.
Okay.
Sir, two options.
Okay. Will you please explain how you have arrived at this answer? First
The
statement.
first one is incorrect.
First one is
Correct, and third
Incorrect.
one correct.
incorrect. So what is the correct answer? Okay. What is the correct answer? The East India Company obtained Diwani rights from the Nawab of Bengal. What is the correct answer?
Sir, first
From
statement
the
is ठीक है.
Treaty of Allah.
Yes, very good. From Shah Alam II of he was a Mughal emperor. From the Mughal emperor Shah Alam II. I have repeatedly told these things while taking the class. Okay. Second, Nijamat right is about the collection of taxes. It is about what?
Diwani. Wrong.
Yes. Nijamat right is about administration of criminal justice. Okay. Then East Indian Company received Diwani rights in the Treaty of Allahabad. Whether it is correct or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes. East India Company has received Diwani rights from Shah Alam. Okay. That is Mughal Emperor, Shah Alam II. Fine. And East India Company has obtained Nijamat rights from whom? Katumala Nijamat rights. This is from the Nawab of Bengal. Okay. Jot it down. Diwani rights, it is from Mughal Emperor Shah Alam. Nijamat rights, it is from Nawab of Bengal. Okay. The answer is only one option is correct. Fine. Next. Around this time, so East India Company has so private trade start करते बहुत सारा profits भी gain करे. Around the royal family of Britain itself was a shareholder of this East India Company, and East India Company was incurring losses during those times. While East India Company was incurring losses, its servants were incurring a lot of income from trade with the natives. Okay, so that's how the affairs of the East India Company became a matter of scrutiny in the House of Commons of Britain. Okay, so East India Company got a territorial power ହେଇଗଲା Battle of Plassey और Battle of Buxar पर तार सर्वेंट्स माने प्राइवेट ट्रेड इन्वॉल्व होई बहुत सारा प्रॉफिट गेन कले हेले ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लॉसेस गेन कले बिकॉज़ काने ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी बहुत सारा वार रे इन्वॉल्वड हला एंड वार इज इटसेल्फ अ वेरी कॉस्टली अफेयर सेट तार एक्टिविटीज गुडा को आसी गला हाउस ऑफ कॉमन्स रो नजर आसिला सो व्हाट दे हैव डन आफ्टर रिसीविंग रिपोर्ट्स बाय द कमिटी which condemned the mayor's course, the crown issued a charter for a new judicial system in Bengal presidency. During that time, how many presidencies were there? कितना प्रेसिडेंसी थिला तळे
3 president.
Three presidencies. Three.
yes very good Bengal presidency, Bombay presidency, Madras presidency. Right. The British Parliament consequently enacted the Regulating Act of 1773. This is the first time British Parliament intervened directly in the affairs of the company. Okay. And British rule in India is majorly divided into two parts: the company rule from 1773 to 1853, and the crown rule from 1858 to 1947. Can anyone tell me why the crown took over the power from the company in 1858? Crown कौन पे power ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी रू नहीं गला 1858
बहुत बड़ा करप्शन गले
रे इन माने
डायरेक्ट रूल
कंपनी रो जो ऑफिसर्स माने करप्शन रे इंडल्ज होथिले
1858 कथा हम कहूछ 18 कंपनी रूल कला 1773 रू 1858 जे क्राउन रूल कला 1858 टू 1947 जे ओके तो 1858 रे काहे की क्राउन ब्रिटिश क्राउन डायरेक्टली काहे की टेक ओवर कंपनी रूल
मीटिंग पर
yes very good it is due to Sepoy mutiny okay then next regulating act of 1773 it is of great constitutional importance because this is the first step taken by the British government to establish to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. Okay, it recognized for the first time the political and administrative functions of the company because East India Company was initially a mercantile company and now it has become a territorial power. It has sovereign powers in fact. Okay, so this is the first time regulating act for the first time recognized the political and administrative functions of the company. And this laid the foundation of central administration in India. What do you understand by this? The foundation of central administration in India. Okay. Next slide. Next slide. Features. Governor General of Bengal. It has created a new post called Governor General of Bengal. Governor of Bengal has now been termed as Governor General of Bengal and created an executive council of 4 members to assist him. Okay. And the first Governor General was Lord Warren Hastings. तो माने कौन टाला गवर्नर ऑफ बंगाल जे थिले आगु तीनटा प्रेसिडेंसी थिला मद्रास प्रेसिडेंसी बॉम्बे प्रेसिडेंसी एंड बेंगल कलकत्ता प्रेसिडेंसी तो एटा कोन टाला ना गवर्नर ऑफ बंगाल जे थिले सी चेंज हो गेले गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ बंगाल ताकर एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल फॉर्मेशन कराला 4 मेंबर्स टू असिस्ट हिम and the first governor general of India was Lord Warren Hastings. Second, it made the governor of Bengal and Madras governor of Bombay and Madras presidencies subordinated to the governor general of Bengal. Unlike earlier, the 3 presidencies were independent of one another. Okay. So this is Bengal presidency, and under that came Bombay and Madras presidency. This is what is called centralization, foundation of central administration in India. Okay. This is what. This became the center of power, and Bombay and Madras presidencies became subordinate to the Bengal presidency. Okay. So they have established a Supreme Court at Calcutta, comprising 1 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. It prohibited company from engaging in private trade because that was the reason why East India Company was incurring losses or accepting bribes from the natives. It strengthened the control of British government over the company through the formation of the Court of Directors, to which the companies should report revenue, civil and military affairs in India. Okay. The Court of Directors formation कराला, centralization of power governor of Bengal हे गला governor general of Bengal, centralization of power हे गला governor of Bengal का under रहले Bombay presidency, Madras presidency. A Court of Directors established कराला जहाँ under रहला revenue, civil and military affairs of India. Okay. Deficiencies. What are the deficiencies? First, the Governor General of Bengal did not have any kind of veto power. There are an executive council of 4 members to assist the Governor General, but he did not have any veto power. The proceeding has to go through a majority rule. Okay, so he did not have any veto power. Second thing, this regulating act of 1773 did not specifically mention about the powers of the Supreme Court, As a result, Supreme Court had a tendency to override the Governor General of Bengal. Okay, that's what I have written. It rendered the Governor General powerless before his colleagues because he had no veto power. It did not demarcate the lines between the power of Governor and the Supreme Court, as a result of which there was a continuous tussle between the Governor General and the court. Hence, then, an amending Act of 1781, an Act of Settlement, which is also said, has been brought into picture. And what did it do? It has subordinated the Supreme Court of Calcutta under the Governor General of Bengal, and okay. And then came Pitt's India Act of 1784 to rectify the deficiencies of amending Act of 1781. What did it do? It has distinguished the commercial and political functions of the company. Court of Director will deal with the commercial affairs, and Board of Control will deal with the political affairs. Okay. The easy way to remember is Court of Director, it begins with C, it will deal with C, commercial affairs. Okay, that is how you need to remember. Court of Director, they will deal with commercial affairs, and Board of Control, they will deal with the political affairs. And what is the most significant aspect? The most significant aspect of this act is this: the company's possession in India were termed as British possessions in India. This is how British government exercised supreme control over the company. This is the first time the possession of the British of the company in India were termed as British possessions in India. Okay. Any doubt?
सर मेंबर संख्या केते केते रहिले?
मेंबर तो सेम ही थिले, सेम ही थिले एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल ले. ओके, एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल किछि रिफॉर्म करा हलानी. आ
बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर 6 मेंबर
ସେଇଟା ଏତେ ଡିଟେଲ ଜାଣିନି ମେମ୍ବର୍ସ କ'ଣ ଅଛନ୍ତି ବୋର୍ଡ ଅଫ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଲ କୋର୍ଟ ଅଫ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟରରେ, and that is not even relevant. that ବେଶୀ ବି relevant ନୁହେଁ, ଯେତିକି ପାର୍ଟ ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସେତିକି ହିଁ relevant. So let us try to solve this question. What is the importance of regulating act in Indian colonial administrative setup? It was the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company. Second, it is designated the Governor of Bengal as Governor General of India and vested him with major executive power. It provided the establishment of a Supreme Court at Bombay Presidency.
Sir, D.
D1 only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
D sir.
D, yes. First statement, it is the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company. Correct. This is correct. He designated Governor of Bengal as Governor General of India. No. Governor General of Bengal. Yes.
Chapter
1833. Charter Act of 1833. सेटा ही कला कि Governor General of Bengal को Governor General of India कला. And who was the first Governor General of India?
William Bentinck.
Yes, very good. William Bentinck. It provided for the establishment of Supreme Court at Calcutta. Okay. So answer is D.
ଏଇଥର ବୋଧେ ଏଇଟା କେବଳ ଗୋଟେ ସହଜ
ଏଇଟା ସାରା
କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ
ଏଇଟା ଆସିଥିଲା କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ
ଏଇଟା ୟୁପିଏସସି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ୟୁପିଏସସି ରେ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଟପିକ ରୁ ବେଶୀ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ଆସେନି ୟୁପିଏସସି ର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନ ମୋଷ୍ଟଲି ଆସିବ 1935 ହେଲା 1861 ଏଗୁଡାକ ୟୁପିଏସସି ର ଫେଭରାइट ହେଲା ଏଗୁଡାକ ଆସିବ ୟୁପିଏସସି ରେ
ନା ସାର୍ କହି ହଉନି କେତେବେଳେ କଣ ଚକ ମାର ଦଉଛି
ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ ଯେତିକି ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ସେଗୁଡା ଆମେ କଭର କରିଦେବା ଅନନେସେସରି ଆସ୍ପେକ୍ଟ ଗୁଡା କଭର କରିବାନି ଯୋଉଟା ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ସେଗୁଡା ଲାଇନ ବାଇ ଲାଇନ କଭର କରିବା ସେଟା ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟିଂ ରୁ କୋର୍ସ ର କହିଛି ସେମିତି ଆମେ ଆପ୍ରୋଚ ଆମର ରହିବ କାରଣ ଏମିତି ରେଗୁଲେଟିଂ ଆକ୍ଟ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେଣ୍ଡିଂ ଆକ୍ଟ 1781 ଥିଲା ତାର ବି ବହୁତ ସାରା ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଗୁଡା କିଛି ନେସେସରି ନୁହେଁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ କିଛି କଭର ବି କରିନି ଯେତିକି ଆମକୁ ଦରକାର ଏକ୍ସାମ ପଏଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ ଭ୍ୟୁ ରୁ ସେତିକି ହିଁ କଭର କରିବା ସବୁ ଯଦି କଭର କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଟ୍ରାଏ କରିବା 2-3 ବର୍ଷ ଲାଗିଗଲେ ବି ସିଲେବସ ସରିବନି ଓକେ ଆଉ ଏମିତି ରାପିଡଲି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଟ୍ରାଏ କଲେ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ଲାସରେ ଗୋଟେ କି ଅଧା ଚାପ୍ଟର ଏମିତି ବି ସରିଯିବ, ବହୁତ ଜଲ୍ଦି ଜଲ୍ଦି ସରିଯିବ। ଓକେ, ସୋ ଏ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚନଟା କ'ଣ ହବ ଆନ୍ସର? Which of the enactment by the British Parliament provided the British government ultimate control over the company affair in its administration in India? Indian Council Act 1861, Charters Act 1853, Pitt's India Act 1784, Regulating Act 1773. Okay. Ultimate control.
1861.
कौन?
1861
ना 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 एटा सी फास्ट कहला ना, फास्ट कोड अल्टीमेट कंट्रोल देला हला एटी म कहली ना ए जिनसटा मेंशन सेते बार-बार रिइटरेट कली मु एटा मु रिइटरेट कली ना सेते बहुत बार एटा ए पार्ट that was significant for two regions. The company territories in India were for the first time called as British possession in India. Next question jiba. Charters Act of 1793. এটা সেমতি কিছু ইম্পর্টান্ট নুহে, দুইটা পয়েন্ট ইম্পর্টান্ট মু দেখিলি, সে দুইটা পোর্ট করদেলি। ফার্স্ট, সেতে লর্ড কর্নওয়ালিস ଥିଲେ, গভর্নর জেনারেল অফ বেঙ্গল। ওকে, overriding power to Lord Cornwallis over his council and all future generals and governor and presidencies. এটা কোন ପାଇଁ କରା ହେଇଥିଲା ଲର୍ଡ କର୍ନୱାଲିସ୍ କୁ? କାରଣ ସେତେବେଳେ ଆଙ୍ଗ୍ଲୋ ମାଇସୋର ୱାରଟା କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କରୁଥିଲା ହେଲା, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ କିଛି ଓଭରରାଇଡିଂ ପାୱାର୍ସ ଦରକାର ଥିଲା। ସେଥିପାଇଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ପାୱାର ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ଲର୍ଡ କର୍ନୱାଲିସ୍ ଗୋଟେ ସେଟଲମେଣ୍ଟ କରିକି ଆସିଥିଲେ କି ଯଦି ତାଙ୍କୁ ପାୱାର ଦିଆ ହବ ତାହେଲେ ସେ ରୁଲ କରିବେ ହେଲା। ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଚାର୍ଟର୍ସ ଆକ୍ଟ 1793 ହେଇଥିଲା। One more thing, it extended the trade monopoly of company in India for another period of 20 years. Next, Charters Act of 1813. First thing, it abolished the trade monopoly of company in India. That is, Indian trade was thrown open to all British merchants. Till then, East India Company had absolute monopoly over the trade in India. Second thing, it continued the monopoly of company over a trade in tea and trade with China. These two monopoly rights have continued, whereas all other trade monopoly rights have been abolished. And one more thing, the rule of the company has been the charter has granted the company to rule India for another period of 20 years. Now, let us attempt this question. Consider the following statements. The Charters Act of 1793 gave powers to the Governor General to override his council. The Charter Act of 1813 allowed the British subjects to access to Indian shore with their ships. Which one will be correct?
Sir, C.
only one, sir.
Sir, A. One only.
अच्छा, फर्स्ट ताले स्टेटमेंट कार किसी डाउट नहीं, राइट? Charters Act gave powers to the Governor General to override his council because Cornwallis wanted it to continue his adventure in Anglo-Mysore Wars. Second thing, Charter Act of 1813 allowed the British subject to access Indian shore with their ships. एटा को नहीं डाउट रोज ता माने कोन? ता माने
ता पूर्वरु
it will allow British
परमिशन पाइले।
yes ता माने कोन? ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी रो मोनोपोली टा अबोलिश हे गला, माने ब्रिटिश मर्चेंट जे भी चाहिए ट्रेड करि परिबे, राइट? तो एटा करेक्ट ही होबो। क्लियर था?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay. So with this, we'll conclude today's session. In the next session, we'll try to complete all other topics of the historical background chapter. So any question from your side? किसी क्वेश्चन सब अच्छी की रिगार्डिंग क्लासेस किसी इंप्रूवमेंट्स हमें करि परिबे कि क्लासेस
सर कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी ପାଇଁ कोन दरकार कोन करिया
कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी पे मु गोटे कथा कहबी कि जते क्वेश्चंस करियो क्वेश्चंस रे कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी आसीबो पॉलिटर एटलीस्ट 1000 क्वेश्चंस कि ताठू बेसी करे पे ट्राई करो लास्ट 30 ईयर यूपीएससी क्वेश्चन लास्ट 2015 रो 2020 रो ओपीएससी क्वेश्चंस ता छडा जते क्वेश्चंस परचो करो माने सेटा गोटे वे कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी पे पढी की कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी होबन पॉलिटर केना एप्लीकेशन ऑफ लॉ एटा सब जगह रे हमें पॉलिटर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ लॉ बे संगे संगे में बुझीथिबा क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कला को मन नथिबो किछि क्वेश्चन जदि हम आगु प्रैक्टिस करथिबा ताहले जे कि एग्जाम हॉल रे सेटा इजी रहबा हमते
सर क्वेश्चन रो सर एमिति जिंस पचार दउची कि माने जणा पडुनी स्टेटमेंट रो किछि जणा पडुनी
सेटा ही तो प्रैक्टिस करे पड़िबा आ किछि आ स्टेटमेंट रो गोटे कथा हमकु नै कि एब्सोल्यूट आंसर जणा थिला हमें क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करबा जणा नथिला अटेम्प्ट करबानी सेमति न जदि को भी क्वेश्चन रे यदि दीटा ऑप्शन एलिमिनेट करि दउछ आ दीटा भीतर डाउट अछि सेटा अटेम्प्ट करे अछि अटेम्प्ट के कम क्वेश्चन करिया नै 90 प्लस क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करिया अछि 85 टू 90 ता तळु करिया नै एट एनी कॉस्ट सेत में किंतु सेति करे पे एमति नै कि पूरा मैं तुकारे कर दबा ता पे रिगोरस प्रैक्टिस दरकार प्रीलिम्स पूर्व एटलीस्ट 3000 प्लस क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करिया अछि पॉलिटर स्पेसिफिकली तो 1000 प्रैक्टिस करिया अछि सेमति लेकिन कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी अंडरस्टैंडिंग सब आसीबो हमें ट्राई भी करबी क्लास रे एवरी क्लासेस रे मु तो ट्राई करबी कि 10 प्लस क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करिया पे
आउ सर जो फैक्ट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन रो आंसर किम दबा माने जोटा कि सपोज एथर गोटे जेमिति गोटे पचार दिथला पोर्ट ऊपर ए जो पचार थिला कोर्की बोली गोटे पोर्ट थिला तो सेठी हमें गोटे ऑप्शन जानि जो आउ दुटा ऑप्शन जानि नै तो सेटा कोन
एब्सोल्युटली यदि किसी जान नथिबो तो सेठी छाडी ही दबो
ना सर माने हिस्ट्री बेस्ड क्वेश्चन रो एवला प्रॉब्लम हो
जो हिस्ट्री सेमति हुए हला ना फर्स्ट कथा कि ट्राई करिवार अछि जो जो पार्ट उडा कॉन्सेप्चुअल पार्ट हला पॉलिटी हला इकोनॉमी हला जियोग्राफी हला ए सब पार्ट रो एनवायरनमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी पार्ट हला ए सब पार्ट रो ट्राई करियो कि मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर दबा हला कारण ए सब कॉन्सेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के टिके भी बुझितले अटेम्प्ट करि हे जे हला हिस्ट्री जति जानि थिबो करिवो न जानि थिले तो टिके डाइसी हे जे क्वेश्चन उडा ट्राई करिके देखियो हले हिस्ट्री मु कहिबि कि मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री 1857 रो 1947 स्पेक्ट्रम रे जहा जेति अछि लाइन बाय लाइन पढिबार अछि गोटे लाइन भी मिस करियार नै 1857 रो 1947 जे आ स्पेक्ट्रम रो पछबटा भी जो गवर्नर जनरल आ डिटेल्स उडा जोडा सब अछि भी कांग्रेस रो प्रेसिडेंट के अछंती से सब इनसोडा भी डिटेल पढियार अछि
एते उडा सर मने रखिया कष्ट करियो जा कोडा
मन रखियो पडिबो आ किछ ऑप्शन नै
ता पे किछि अछि कि
मन रखिबो केमते मन रख परिबा तमे क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करले ही मन रखिबो एमती रूट लर्निंग कि पैसिव रीडिंग रे मन रुहेनी ओके
तापरे आ गुटे सर
प्रैक्टिस करले कोनटा होय हमरा एक्टिव लर्निंग हुए एक्टिव लर्निंग करले हमें मन रखि दो हैला
और सर से स्टोरीटा बैकग्राउंड रो क्रिएट होबने डायरेक्ट हम जदी लक्ष्मीकांत पढ जदी डायरेक्ट सब्जेक्ट से डील करी पळो
सेहि पे ही तो कहूची कि हमें ये लेटर से बे हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड स्टार्ट करूचे हम लक्ष्मीकांत सहित स्पेक्ट्रम टा भी पढिबा को पडिबो ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री ऑफ मॉडर्न इंडिया कने सेतरे गोटे नरेशन क्रिएट होय गोटे स्टोरी क्रिएट होउची कि 1773 अमेंडमेंट रे कोन इश्यू 1773 रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट कोन पे आसिला कने बैटल ऑफ प्लासी बैटल ऑफ बक्सर पर ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी गोटे टेरिटोरियल पावर हे गला टेरिटोरियल पावर को रेगुलेट करे पे 1773 रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट आसला तापर तादर किछि लाख नथिला 1781 आसला अमेंडिंग एक्ट तादर किछि लाख नथिला 1784 आसला पिट्स इंडिया एक्ट तापर सेमती सेटा गोटे नरेशन भले रहिले हे परिबो आ सबरे शॉर्ट नोट बना स्टार्ट करो लेट अस 1773 रेगुलेटिंग एक्ट सेटा जदी वन लाइन रे तुमको डिस्क्राइब करियो पड़िबो तो कोन कहबो सब सेमती ट्राई करो हला कि जोथरे माने वन लाइन रे शॉर्ट नोट रे लिखि दे परिबो सेटा कोन दैट इज द बिगिनिंग ऑफ सेंट्रलाइज्ड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ इंडिया जदी वन लाइन में डिस्क्राइब करिबा और सेटा कल्मिनेशन हला 1833 चार्टर एक्ट हला जेतल की मद्रास और बॉम्बे प्रेसिडेंसी गुडाकर लॉ मेकिंग पावर को भी अबोलिश कर दिया हला 1861 सेटा कोन पोर्टफोलियो सिस्टम 1858 द एक्ट फॉर गुड गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हला सेमती मन रखो 1909 सेटा कोनटा हला सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट हला 1919 डायरकी 1935 प्रोविंशियल ऑटोनॉमी ये सब जिनसोडा माने स्पेसिफिक को एक्ट रो कोन माने रहउची इंपोर्टेंस हला स्पेसिफिक मन रखि दियो 1935 रो सब तार सबुट इंपोर्टेंट जिनस देला प्रोविंशियल ऑटोनॉमी हला कि ता पर भी 1935 पर हम डायरेक्ट 1947 एक्ट को जिबानी ता पर हम देखिबा कोन कोन चेंजेस सब आसीथिला अगस्त ऑफ रहला क्रिप्स मिशन रहला कैबिनेट मिशन रहला हला ता पर आसीबा तो एथरे हमर पॉलिटी रो भी किछि पार्ट कवर हबो आ मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री भी किछि पार्ट कवर हो कारण छोडा इंटर रिलेटेड और 1935 रो एक्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग हला हम जानि परिबे कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रे को प्रोविजंस उडा 1935 एक्ट आछि प्रीवियस ईयर तुम यूपीएससी रो मेंस क्वेश्चन देखिबो इवन यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स क्वेश्चन रे भी इस्टा क्वेश्चन दिबो कि 1935 एक्ट रो को पार्ट माने एटा को एक्ट आछि हला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ए पार्ट एमति सब थिबो यस फेडरलिज्म वेरी गुड
बेले बेले जिन आपण से जोडा क्वेश्चन टा पकेले अल्टीमेट कंट्रोल ऑफ गवर्नमेंट जो पचले से फास्ट सेड माने स्टेटमेंट रे इमिति लुचेई दे दउ जे जानिया कष्टकर हे होउची
माने सेत पे जोडा इंपोर्टेंट पॉइंट गुडा कर होउची म तको हाइलाइट करूची आ तको एम्फसाइज करूची कना सेही पॉइंट गुडा मन रखियार अछि ना सेही पॉइंट गुडा मन थिले ही माने एग्जाम टाइम रे यूजफुल रहइबो
सर जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन टा हमें डिस्कस करले सेटा टिके आउट की स्लाइड टा देखिबे टिके बुझी हलन ठीक से
ठीक अछि एक क्वेश्चन देखो
प्लीज सर
एटा बुझिबा पूर्व तमे पूर्व दिगा को बुझि दियो चार्टर एक्ट 1793 एसे कोनटा थिला कि लॉर्ड कॉर्नवालिस को एब्सोल्यूट पावर मिला टू ओवरराइड हिज काउंसिल्स एंड गवर्नर ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंसीज ओके सेटा रहला सेकंड चार्टर एक्ट ऑफ 1833 एथे कोनटा रहला it had continued the monopoly of the company over trade in sorry first one it abolished the trade monopoly of the company in India East India Company जोड़ा थिला आगुर तार मोनोपोली थिला ओवर ट्रेड इन इंडिया चार्टर्स एक्ट ऑफ 1833 से मोनोपोली को अबोलिश कर देला काना ब्रिटिश रे अलगा ब्रिटेन में अलगा जो मर्चेंट्स माने थे से माने कंप्लेन करले माने स्पाइस ट्रेड ता बहुत ही प्रॉफिटेबल थिला जेतले फर्स्ट टाइम भास्को डा गामा इंडिया आसी थिले से तळे देखले ब्लैक पेपर रो प्राइस और इठिकर इंडिया रे प्राइस और यूरोप रे प्राइस ऑलमोस्ट यूरोप रो प्राइस 400 टाइम्स थिला इंडियन प्राइस रो इट वाज लाइक अ ब्लैक गोल्ड फॉर हिम सेबे अन्य मर्चेंट्स माने भी चाहिले कि तांको भी माने एक्सेस मिलु इंडिया को ट्रेड पे सेबे एठी अबोलिश कर दिया गला ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ट्रेड मोनोपोली एक्सेप्ट टी आउट ट्रेड विथ चाइना छड़ देला हैला से क्वेश्चन दा अछि द चार्टर एक्ट ऑफ 1813 allowed British subjects to access Indian shore. British subjects to access Indian shore with their ships.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
तो माने एबे ट्रेड करि परिबे आगुर से इनसटा प्रोहिबिटेड थिला खाली ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ही ट्रेड करूथला बाकी मर्चेंट माने को अलाउ कराउ नथला फाइन
Thank you, sir.
क्लासेस रे हमें कोन आउ डिस्कस करि परिबे कोन इंप्रूवमेंट्स जानि परिबे
सर मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव कोइले आरे भलो होता
मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव रो जोटा भी दरकार रहिबो सेटा मो कहि चलिबे लेट अस हम एतले गवर्नर पढिबा कि जतले प्रेसिडेंट पढिबा डेफिनेटली आर्टिकल 356 ऊपर डिटेल ले पढिबा आर्टिकल 352 ऊपर डिटेल ले पढिबा हला कि जते बेले हमरो हमें पढिबा प्रेसिडेंशियल एक्टिविज्म ऊपर भी डिटेल ले पढिबा हला गवर्नर पढ़ला बेले गवर्नर से पावर्स को केमती यूज करते कि कोडी मिसयूटिलाइज हला सेगुडा भी पढ़िबो जदि इंपोर्टेंट जजमेंट्स गुडा रहला सेटा भी हमें कवर करबो एसआर बुमाई जजमेंट हला जोटा कि डेफिनेटली
कमिटी रिलेटेड
कमिटी रिलेटेड तो एते किछि इंपोर्टेंट नाही जजमेंट
कारण सर आंसर राइटिंग रो हमको लिखियो पड़िबो ना कोड करियो पड़ियो ना
हाँ,
मेंस रे
ना मेंस आंसर राइटिंग बेले से सब रिलेटेड जहाँ दरकार पड़िबो से रिलेटेड मो डॉक्यूमेंट शेयर करिवो दरकार पड़ले क्लास रे भी पढ़ेबो बर्तन क्लासेस रे हमें कोन इंप्रूव करि परिबा फ्रॉम प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव माने प्रीलिम्स टा एबे आ कम टाइम रहला एनीवन क्लासेस रे बे हमें आ किछ इंप्रूव करि परिबा कि प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन डिस्कशन छडा तो मु क्वेश्चन स्टार्ट करि छ प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन डिस्कशन पई सेपरेट गोटे सेशन स्टार्ट हो ओके ओपीएस रे जति प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन अछि 2015 टू 2022 जे सब क्वेश्चंस से डिस्कस कराइ छ मैक्सिमम रिलेवेंट यस डेफिनेटली प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन स्टार्टिंग रे कहै छै प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन और सिलेबस दोज आर योर आइज एंड इयर्स फॉर द एग्जामिनेशन ओवरऑल सेशन केमती थिला
भलो सर बहुत
अच्छा ठीक है थैंक यू ठीक अछि सो लेट अस कॉल इट अ डे हमें रिसेंटली है नेक्स्ट सेशन गोटे नबा जो थरे की हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड टा कंप्लीट कर देबा एटा बहुत ही इंपोर्टेंट मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री पर्सपेक्टिव रू भी और पॉलिटी पर्सपेक्टिव रू भी आ तापरे हमें प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन डिस्कशन रो भी गोटे सेशन स्टार्ट कर देबा आ कोनस भी डाउट्स रहला यू शुड फील फ्री टू शेयर विथ मी ओके माने इट शुड नॉट बी जस्ट लिमिटेड टू पॉलिटी एनी टॉपिक I mean I'm familiar with all topics किछि भी टॉपिक किछि भी डाउट्स रहला क्लियर माने एक्सेस अप्रोच करियबा फाइन
सर आपन का ऑप्शनल कोन थिला
पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन
सर हिस्ट्री की कोन केमते डील करबा
हिस्ट्री मु जेमते कहली सिलेक्टिवली पढिबार अछि मॉडर्न इंडियन हिस्ट्री 1857 रो 7 सॉरी
हां सर एथरो क्वेश्चन हम देखिली केतळे पके दो एंशिएंट रो पके दो केतळे मोर मीडियम
फोटो था मु तुम जो कहली तुम 80% क्वेश्चन भलो से करे पे ट्राई करो एंशिएंट मेडिवल पई बहुत सारा रिसोर्स फॉलो करियार किछि दरकार ना माने मोर जेति अंडरस्टैंडिंग
सर एंशिएंट मेडिवल में फेक बेस्ट क्वेश्चन पूछछि
हां सेति एंशिएंट मेडिवल सेटा कलो कि कल्चर आर्ट एंड जति आर्किटेक्चर पार्ट रहले सेउडा कवर कर देला कि एंशिएंट इंडिया रे देखो किछटा सोर्स फॉलो करियार अछि लेट अस तमिलनाडु एनसीईआरटी 11 सेटा फॉलो करियार अछि हला एमति किछटा सोर्स फॉलो करियार अछि हला ताठु बेसी हमें टाइम वेस्ट न कले बेटर हला
फिर तो सर पूरा आउट ऑफ सिलेबस पळे जाउ कोन माने बही रे भी ना
देखो 20 टा क्वेश्चन रे 3टा 4टा क्वेश्चन आउट ऑफ सिलेबस रहिबो हला कि सिलेबस रे एमति रेस्ट्रिक्ट करा हेनी एति की ही पडिबो हला तो सेटा को केमिति तमे इंटेल माने डील करिवो सेटा भाबियार अछि हला तमे दि 2017 यूपीएससी मेंस रो जीएस पेपर हम देखिवो हला सेतरो एक क्वेश्चन थिवो वेस्टर्न अफ्रीका रो इंटेलेक्चुअल्स माने केमति यूरोप रे एजुकेटेड है कि केमति वेस्टर्न अफ्रीका रो फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल ले हेल्पफुल हला से टाइप के छोटे थिला क्वेश्चन से विषय के भी जान नथिवे राइट से वर्ष मोर गोटे सांग आईएएस पाइथिला हला से जेनसटा को पूरा मैप करिकि वेस्ट अफ्रीका रो इंटेलेक्चुअल माने केमिति यूरोप गले माने सेमति किछि गोटे लिखिछि हला बुझछ जोटा कि किछि न हले जने 10 मार्क रो तो 2-3 मार्क तो दबो ना दैट्स हाउ यू नीड टू फाइट यू हैव टू फाइट फॉर एवरी मार्क एवरी सिंगल मार्क जो जिन सब किछि भी जणा नै भी तादर किछि भी लिखिया रहछ माने 2-3 मार्क भी बहुत डिफरेंस क्रिएट करे हला और सेमिति किछि गोटा टॉपिक जोटा कि देखो एमती जीएस रे तो बहुत ही वास्ट सिलेबस रहछ और सेमिति किछि डिफाइंड नै कि डिफाइंड बुक्स भी नै हला मैं ब्रॉडली केमती 80% सिलेबस कवर करबा 80% क्वेश्चन माने आउट ऑफ 20 केमती 16 क्वेश्चन भलो से कर पेरे सेटा देखिया रहछ स्ट्रक्चर्ड आंसर लिखि ना कि बाकी चारटा क्वेश्चन एंशिएंट मेडिवल रहिला आर्ट एंड कल्चर रे कोठी गोटे न्यूमिस्मेटिक्स कोठी पढिथिबो कोठी कॉइन्स ऊपर पढिथिबो से सब जिंस ऊपर बेसी फोकस करी किछि लाभ नै जस्ट गोटे बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग रहले ठीक अछि ले ताठू बेसी किछि न कले बेटर यस
ना सर मु प्रीलिम प्रश्न उठे कहूँ
प्रीलिम्स रे भी सेमती ही प्रीलिम्स रे तुमको थोड़ी 100 क्वेश्चन ना आसीबो सब यूपीएससी माने अपियर करछन लेट अस यूपीएससी माने अपियर करूछन सेमान को केतरा क्वेश्चन आछुची 100 टा हार्डली 30-40 क्वेश्चंस आसुथिबे जोटा कि एब्सोल्युटली क्लियर थिबे कि हां एतरा आंसर जणा अछि बाकी 40-50 क्वेश्चन एलिमिनेट करो इंटेलिजेंट गेस करो केमति करी सब करंती ना
एलिमिनेशन प्रोसेस बंद कर देला
नै एलिमिनेशन एबर्स ना गला पूर्व तो थिला ना यूपीएससी रे तो सेंस रहिबो ना
ना हां गत थर भी आरंभ कर देछि गत थर अवश्य
देखो फास्ट कथा होछि प्रैक्टिस जेते तुम प्रैक्टिस करिवे एग्जाम हॉल सेते कूल रहइबो सेते इजीली क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट कर परिबो तो जेते डिफिकल्ट आसीबो से मतलब कट ऑफ भी कम आसीबो तमे देखो लास्ट कट ऑफ केते थिला 88 हां 88 थिला तमे 2016 कट ऑफ देखो थिला 116 हला केते कम गेलानी 30 मार्क कम गेलानी
आउ सर 5 वर्ष रे 50 धर जीवो
ना एते कम जीवनी
ना ना यूपीएससी चाहू जे साइंटिस्ट पिला दरकार आउ
सेमती न है
न सर कोन जानिया पे चाहू ना यूपीएससी ए क्वेश्चन कोन माने पिला को जानिया पे चाहू जे मु सिविल
ठीक अछि से विषय में परे डिटेल डिस्कस करियो हैला विथ माने हम क्लास से डिस्कस करियो हैला सो लेट अस कॉल इट अ डे
थैंक यू
ओके थैंक यू ऑल
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर
वेलकम